I call the meeting to order for the February 7th Planning Commission. If you would, join me in a moment of silence before we begin. Thank you. I'd like to, if we could, we'll go to the first item on our agenda, which is adoption of our agenda.
Move for adopt.
I got a motion to adopt. Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion's carried. The next item on there is the adoption of the November 15, 2017 meeting minutes. I have a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Minutes stand as approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. As we continue on, we come up to some committee reports. And our first on it is for Mr. Oates with Transportation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we met on January 22nd to discuss 3 items. The first was a change to the committee's charter to allow 3 Board of Supervisors and 3 citizens to serve on the committee. Prior to that, it was 2 and 2. The second item was a discussion of various projects that need to be evaluated. Of those, the committee will recommend 4 to the Board of Supervisors for application in the future to the Smart Scale program for funding. This program now only allows 4 projects, and if we're lucky, we might get 1, but probably none to receive funding, the way this thing has been shaping up. Finally, the committee was given project updates on Tevin Street Extension, Renaissance Drive, Coverstone Drive, and the Juba Early Drive extension to 37. There's really not much to report on those.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Oates. We have Ms. Wolf here from the Winchester Planning Commission. Welcome.
Well, thank you. We had our work session for the February 20th meeting yesterday. We have 1 CUP for 2 extended stay rentals in a otherwise 3 apartment unit building, and additionally a site plan approval that we're looking at. And we began a discussion regarding potentially modifying our zoning ordinance pertaining to the allowance of short-term rentals.
All right. Thank you. The last we have is our Board of Supervisor liaison, Ms. Trout.
I have no report. We have not met since our last Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. I would like to make just 2 quick announcements on committees. As you just heard, Mr. Oates is back on transportation. He resumed his duties there where I filled in for a few months. And then we have Kay Dawson took my place on as liaison to City Planning Commission from our commission. So thank you for those. And all other committees will stay the same unless I hear from one of you people that want to change your assignments. We'll work on those. So we'll move on to our next item. Next item on our agenda is our citizen comment portion of this. Anyone that would like to speak to us on anything other than what's on the agenda tonight during the public hearing, this is your time to come address us, and we'll listen to what you have. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move out of citizen comments, move on to our next item, which is a public hearing item. It's a conditional use permit number 01-18 for Mr. Brian M. Henry, submitted for establishment of a landscaping contracting business in the RA Rural Area Zoning District. The property is located at 639 Reliance Road, Middletown, Virginia, and is identified with property identification number 91-A-77 in the Opequon Magisterial District. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. This property is surrounded by RA zone properties, and our uses are residential. As you pointed out, Mr. Chairman, this proposed use is for a landscape contracting business. If I could turn your attention to the map on your left, there's an outline of the property which is in black. This proposed conditional use permit is for the making and selling of mulch on site to the public. A landscape contract business is allowed in the rural area zoning district or RA zoning district with approved conditional use permit or CUP. This proposed use will take place on a 73-acre tract of land located in the RA zoning district. This proposed business will use a tub grinder to make, store, and sell mulch to the public. Based on the description of the use provided by the applicant, the hours of operation of this business will be from Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The applicant would like to have 2 storage bays that will be used for storage of mulch. There'll be no more than 4 employees on site with Winchester, Frederick County Health Department approval. If you read through your agenda, currently, the applicant will have to come back to get evaluated if he wanted to add more employees. Currently, right now, the applicant is only looking, I believe, to have 2 employees, but this gives the applicant an opportunity that if the Planning Commission Board approved this CUP, he could add a total of 4. The site will have no more than 4 business vehicles on the premises. And again, this is, as I'm going to let the applicant speak to his business plan, but this gives him an opportunity again that had no more than 4 vehicles that he'll be using for any operations out there. And he would not have to, again, come back in front of this board or the Board of Supervisors for expansion of the CUP. There is a business office for this proposed use, and it's within an accessory structure with customer and employee parking. There will be 1 monument sign not to be 5 feet in height and no more than 50 square feet on the entrance facing Route 627, which is Reliance Road. The ultimate configuration of the site, including the employee parking and customer parking, storage base, business sign, will be determined at the time of submission of a illustrated sketch plan. And again, that sketch plan will be looked at by staff as one part of the conditions that you're well aware of, that we've put on a lot of these, some of these businesses in the RA zoning district. They'll come in, staff will evaluate it and have those recommendations take care of where we're going to have the storage and things. The applicant did provide kind of a layout of his property right now. It's on your screen at the left, and I'm going to let him explain that a little bit to you, what he's looking to do out there. Again, this is just a layout that he had come up with as part of the application process. So again, that we will be looking at a sketch plan that will identify, for instance, not to have storage like along Reliance Road, for people to see stuff. He's got 73 acres. Part of that sketch plan, as you looked at the VDOT comments, will address some of that also. So with that, Mr. Chairman, should the Planning Commission find this use to be appropriate, staff will recommend the following conditions be assigned to this conditional use permit. Number 1, our review agency comments shall be complied with at all times. Number 2, an illustrative sketch plan shall be submitted to and approved by Frederick County with all improvements completed prior to the establishment of this use. Number 3, 1 non-illuminated freestanding monument sign is to be allowed with this conditional use permit that is no more than 5 feet in height and 50 feet or 50 square feet in area. Number 4, the hours of operation shall be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The site should have no more than 4 employees with the Winchester Frederick County Health Department approval. And number 6, any expansion or change of use will require a new conditional use permit. For the record, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is here, Mr. Henry is here to answer any questions you or any of the planning commissioners may have on this conditional use permit. At your dais tonight, we did get an email from Mr. Richard Hall with some concerns. I'll let the applicant and myself try to address them. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll answer any questions you or any of the planning commissioners may have on this conditional use permit for Mr. Brian Henry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any commissioners have a question for Mr. Chairman? Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Chairman, you said he requested the operational hours 7 to 7 Monday to Friday. In the health department comments, they said he requested 7 to 5 Monday to Friday and 7 to 12 on Saturday. So which, did he request 7 to 7 or did he request 7 to 5?
When the application came in, that Mr. Henry came with 7 to 5, what staff had done, because the application, and speaking with him, as he looked, I'll let him speak on it, to make it clear that, he's having a Monday through Friday to give them that opportunity. If he wants to close 9 to 12, that's his business. When I say we, Frederick staff had looked at it and said, hey, let's make it clean. It's a 7 to 7. That gives him that opportunity. If he wants to close down early, he can close down early, but he also can keep open a little later, again, with folks getting off of work and things of that nature. It has nothing to do with the health department in terms of what you're asking. Yeah, yeah.
And you said Monday to Friday. Did you mean Monday to Saturday?
I'm sorry, Monday to Saturday, yes, sir.
Any other questions, Mr. Chairman? Okay, we'll move to the applicant. Is Mr. Henry here? Would you like to come address us?
sir.
Could you state your name and
Brian Henry.
your Mass Jail District?
Excuse me?
And your Mass Jail District, where you're located?
Middletown,
Second
Okay.
district.
Pecking, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Just for the record, that's all we need.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We just want to, what we're doing is, where this started is we want to clear 11 acres for farming. So instead of, which we have cleared land out there before to burn, and burnt it, instead of doing that and causing, creating all the smoke and the pollution and everything else, we decided to come in and grind it and sell the mulch. Because we also have an excavating business in Gainesville that has nothing to do with this, it's separate, to make everything cleaner. So that's when I came in, did the conditional use permit. We run equipment around the property now to do clearing, cleanup around there and stuff. The only difference would be now there would be a tub grinder there. That won't run 24/7. It runs for short periods at a time, each, or, however many days, once a week probably, I'm not exactly sure. So we want to be able to try to offset the cost with clearing the land by grinding mulch, stumps, stuff like that, and having the public bring it in, contractors bring it in, grind up, resell it as landscaping material.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a question for?
I do. You said you're going to have contractors bring in products, going to be bringing in stumps and logs and
What we're going to do
things?
eventually, yes, eventually what we want to do is get it to where we can have the public, the contractors, whoever, either them bring it in or we go out to the site and get it and bring it in and stockpile it and then grind it up when time
Okay.
and sell it back to the public or contractors or whoever.
So they'd be coming in on large trucks?
Yes, sir.
There is a restriction on truck traffic on Reliance Road now, on a through truck traffic? Okay.
Yes, sir. And VDOT actually stated
Yep.
what they would allow.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Molden. Mr. Oates?
On that stump grinding, you said it might be one day a week, it could be more. I guess my concern is if you're open from 7 to 7, having a stump grinder start up at 7 o'clock.
Well, here's the biggest 7 to 7 is people early in the morning, people late in the evening. The stump grinder, as you know, we're just getting into this, but that will not be running all day. Basically, the 7 to 7 is to allow people to come in, if they work late in the evening, work early in the morning, to be able to have an area to come in and dump available, not to necessarily run a stump grinder or tub grinder, I apologize.
Would you be willing to restrict the tub grinder to say 9 to 5?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. No other questions? Thank you, Mr. Henry.
All right, thank you.
This is a public hearing. This time I open the public hearing to anyone that'd like to make a comment to address this. Is there anyone that'd like to speak?
Yeah,
State your name and your address.
John Pike, and I just pretty much echo what Richard Hall said.
Okay.
Aye.
Is that all?
You're
You're free to speak.
Yeah, well, he just told me to, ought to speak here, he said, because it'd be making a lot of noise, and it's not going to be muffled, so to speak, so. And also, the pollution, so I'm just on advice of Richard Hall, my widowed brother-in-law, he just told me to come here and voice that, so.
Could you give me your address once again? I didn't get your address.
Well, I have 511 Reliance Road to go down there an awful lot, but I've lived at 1521 South Loudon most of the time. Sometimes I go down there and.
Okay.
and
I would just need it
relax.
for the record. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. You have anything else you'd like to add, or?
No, just echoing what Richard Hall said, and he told me,
Okay.
and just said it'd make a lot of noise, and it would be muffled, and he told me to say that, to advise against the farm. He says once it's there, it could be there for decades, like it or not, so.
All right.
If there's something else, I'll tell you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
But he says that it's best that we, pretty much, you know what he said, don't you?
Yes, yeah, we got you
And
there.
I go with it, he says, okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this issue? Please state your name and your address, please.
Nadine Helfer, 439 Reliance Road.
Thank you.
Is there going to be any limitation on the size of the piles that can be accumulated there?
We can address that. We can ask the applicant that, or Mr. Chairman that, but we can do that. Take that. They have a chance for rebuttal here in just a minute, so do you have any other?
Is there enough water supply to keep the dust down and keep the particles from flying everywhere and to fight a fire? Because those mulch piles are really spontaneously combustible.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Not, I'll close the public hearing. And if we could get some applicant response, would you like a chance to rebut? Yes, sir. Answer some of their concerns?
Yeah, to her statement about the visualization of the mulch piles, if you can go back to where, anyway, on the map, if you knew where the storage areas were, it's actually wooded on 4 sides, and it's about, off the top of my head, 800 foot from the road and over 1,000 foot from, actually from her property, it's probably 2,000 foot, so there's no visualization she's going to see of it at all, or anybody else driving up the road. It'll actually be wooded areas on 4 sides of it. And it's quite a ways from the.
Mr. Oates, you have a question?
Yeah, are you looking to have multiple piles or one big pile?
Well, we have 2 storage areas. We have two areas for it. You know, it's not gonna, the piles won't be, but so big. We're trying to, once we grind it up, we're trying to pretty much immediately get rid of it. We have contractors already down in the city that are willing to take the mulch. They'll dye it and then they'll bag it and sell it. That's what they do. So to answer your question, it won't be like mounds and mounds of mulch there. It pretty much, once we grind it, we will be getting it out of there pretty quickly.
Thank you, Senator.
Kevin,
Yes, Ms. Dawson?
is there any way to muffle the sound?
Well, it won't be any louder than the equipment that's already there. I mean, we have equipment there working now, cleaning up stuff.
Grinding?
On the property, chainsaws and all, and it will not be any louder than that, trying to get the farm, trying to get for the cattle and stuff.
Mr. Tripp, did you have a question?
The question was answered. I thought maybe you might be bagging it for resale.
Okay.
The mulch, so.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mark?
one thing that concerns me, VDOT is saying 50 trips, and then we have to go to commercial entrance. Who monitors those 50 trips a day?
That's a good question for staff.
To answer your question, we're not going to wait. We're going to go ahead and put the entrance in now.
Okay.
We've spoken with VDOT. If everything's approved and I speak with Mark, the board supervisor, everybody, then we're going to go ahead and put the entrance in now because, number one, it cleans up the front of the property, makes the entrance, it's not an eyesore. It looks
Well, I
better
think you're going to need it.
aesthetically.
I think you're going to need it anyway.
Yes, sir.
I think you're smart if you do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Marston. Anyone else? Mr. Unger?
Just a question. You said that there would be no more noise than there is now. Is the tub grinder been used now?
No, sir, but you have equipment there cleaning trees up. The previous owners ran a mechanic shop out of there, and there was junk, scrap buried and stuff around the property everywhere that we've been cleaning up over the years. So it's the same thing. We've had to come in on weekends, bring a loader in, clean up, stuff like that. And I'm saying it's no noisier than what that is. The noise level's not going to go up anymore than what it's been. We've been working on this place almost 13 years.
Okay.
Trying to get things cleaned up.
Any other questions? Thanks, sir.
Thank you all.
Mark, do you want to address what we had on the question about the entrance or the trip monitors?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chairman. A couple things. One, we could address it at that sketch plan time. That is a good question. With VDOT, kind of let it open for what he's looking at, and talk with Mr. Henry, understand what the business yes, we can get that, we'll have that put in VDOT, we'll look at it because it goes to review agencies. That's just one other quick comment. Even though we don't do a site plan, the illustrative sketch plan still goes through our agencies, i.e. would be Public Works. I know there were some concerns that the gentleman who sent on the email was looking at, and any other concerns that, they go through those agencies. And as with that sketch plan, it's almost like a site plan, but as you know, as we adopted that, not to have an applicant, unless it was a big thing to pay for that. So we'll address that at that time. The through truck traffic someone brought up, I think Mr. Molden did. Yes, there's no through trucks there, as you know, Mr. Molden, from being down there. That's your neck of the woods, actually. That local traffic is allowed there for this business that can't go through there. That was one thing that did come up. That was one thing that we had talked about as staff, but yes, there is. And I know that's still going through the process now through the public hearings and on the Warren County side for no through trucks. So yes, if you have regular deliveries or something come down there, as Mr. Henry will have down there, it won't apply to this. They ought to know the trucks come and know that they can't go all the way through down to get to 522 or vice versa. Thank you.
Thank you. We're at the point where questions or discussion here with the PC members. Mr. Oates?
Not my district, but I'd be supportive if we added 2 conditions. That was the tub grinder only operates from 9 to 5, and go ahead and put the commercial entrance in as a condition as well, since he's agreeable to it.
Thanks, sir. Take on the motion. Any other questions or discussion? Mr. Moan?
Just to follow up on what Gary just suggested, I agree with that. I think that those are good additions. I would say that, personally, I think the only way to really deal with the potential for a noise issue with the grinder operation is to, probably tighten up that time frame a little bit more. So I'm comfortable with, what you've recommended. But I would suggest that maybe the applicant and staff talk a little bit more about, whether that time frame can be tightened up, because that'll expose the community to, a little less of the grinder operation if that's feasible. But I can accept what Mr. Oates has put forward.
It would probably be a good idea not to have it on Saturday. I noticed that one of the property owners is a winery. I don't know if they have people there, but if they could not do it on Saturday and just do it during the week.
Thank you. Mr. Oates?
If I could just add, the Tribe Mountain Winery, I actually did a survey of that. That's just the name of the owner. It's not an actual winery.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, if that's all the comments, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we recommend approval of conditional use permit 01-18 for Brian M. Henry with 2 additional conditions. Number 7, that the tub grinder will only run between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and that a commercial entrance will be in place when he starts running the tub grinder.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. The vote. We'll start down, Mr. Unger.
Hungry, yeah?
Marston, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Klein, yes.
Oates, yes.
Thomas, yes?
Molden, no.
Wilmot, yes.
Sherpin, yes.
Dawson, yes.
Moan, yes.
And chair votes yes. This moves on to the Board of Supervisors for their February 28th meeting, I believe. And we'll go there, and good luck in your business endeavors. And thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you all very much. Thank you. That brings us to unless Mr. Ruddy has anything to add, but that brings us to the end of our agenda. No other business.
Nothing to add other than that we will be having your next meeting. We have something scheduled, of course. Carmouche will be coming back to see you.
We look forward to it. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.